Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today isn't going to be like a scientific video or anything, it's more of a chill, informal video. So grab some food, grab some oranges, something healthy or unhealthy, it doesn't matter. And just sit back and relax. This isn't meant to be scientific, so don't take it too seriously. So this video is about how to tell if somebody is smart. And by smart, again, it's not a scientific definition, I just mean, you know, when you look at someone like we do in real life or on TV, we make these biased judgments and see if they're smart or not. That's basically what I mean by smart. So first I want to start by discussing what people see as smart today. For a lot of people, it's seen as smart if someone explains things in an overly complicated manner or uses overly complex words, even when a simple one would have worked better. And actually I have a problem with this in the educational system as well. Why is a 6th grade science book explaining a concept like genetics like it's Shakespeare? There's no need for a lot of the, I don't know, what do you call it, Middle Ages language? I don't know, what is it called? Old European language? I don't know what it is, but there's no need for archaic language like back in Shakespeare's time. There's no need to use overly complicated words when you don't have to. And a positive is that in recent years, I've seen teachers picking more simpler resources or students self-picking simpler resources, or maybe the authors are realizing that these science books don't have to be so complicated. If you explain it simply, more people will understand it. So for clarity's sake, I think this is a step in the right direction. Obviously, if you're actually explaining something complicated or you're trying to improve your English in English class, use complicated language. But a lot of the time it's completely unnecessary and I have no idea what the purpose is other than for an author to stroke their own ego or something. Essentially, I think people would consider these textbook authors or people who overcomplicate things, I think people would see them as smart. So what are some other things that people see as smart today? If people act like they know everything about the world, and literally there are some people that apparently have an answer to every question, they're seen as smart. So if someone goes up on a podium on TV and they are asked 100 questions and they have 100 definite black and white answers, apparently people think that that guy knows his stuff, he's smart. I think people are drawn to those who act like they know everything, and also people who constantly talk about how smart or accomplished they are. But oddly enough, I don't know how this happened to be, but all these things that people consider smart, I think smart people are the exact opposite of that. Rather than being closed-minded and absolute, I think a smart person is actually more open-minded and willing to take in more information, willing to actually process it rather than immediately rejecting it. Smart people are actually very open to listening to others and learning new perspectives because a smart person realizes there's so much to know about the world and other people's perspectives and information is really valuable. And along with that, again, a smart person knows they don't know so many things, so you'll often hear them saying, I don't know, or I don't have enough information. While someone who's acting smart apparently has an answer to everything in the universe. I think a lot of the time, because smarter people aren't afraid to say I don't know and are constantly listening and learning, they are sometimes seen as dumber than they really are, or even they themselves, it might be you think you're dumber than you really are when you're actually really smart. Something I completely don't understand is how much image, like how you look, affects how people perceive you as smart or not. Somebody is speaking in a regular conversational tone, but they have an amazing point. They're still seen as irrelevant and dumb. Meanwhile, if you're making no sense, but you're yelling loudly and you're acting in a commanding way, this idiot is seen as a genius. It makes zero sense. And this even affects you at your school and how teachers will perceive you. So, quick story, my sister and I both took an introductory math class back in college together, and she got a question wrong on her quiz for the definition of a statistic, and she basically had the exact same definition as in the PowerPoint. So she went up to the teacher to correct it, and I guess she was just shot down, even though she's like, yeah, the PowerPoint, my answer, the exact same. Still shot down, she came back. So I grabbed her paper, I went up, and in a more commanding, assertive, male voice, basically, I was like, yo, this is the same answer. This is the same language, PowerPoint, and the answer are the same. So what's wrong? And he looked at me for a second, and then he changed it. Like, what the hell? So basically, if you're more assertive and you speak in a more commanding voice, you're more likely to get respect out of teachers and people in school. This is something I've seen over and over again. It doesn't happen often, and it's not all teachers, it's a small amount of them. But because I've seen it over and over again, I do think there's a systemic problem. Teachers treating differently based on how they perceive you, which I don't think is right. If you need a correction and you have a good point, you should be corrected regardless of what you look like or anything else. Essentially, everything I've said up to now, my point is focus on what a person is saying rather than how they're saying it or how they look, because I think those latter two are irrelevant and pretty inaccurate. And the fact of the matter is there are so many different types of intelligence that I think it's not even a good idea to judge if someone is intelligent or not. To be intelligent, you don't need to have a specific degree or any special training or no random facts about the world. You don't need any of those. Because there are so many different types of intelligence, it's almost impossible to judge people as smart or not, but we still do it anyways. I think we need to be more cautious about judging people as smart and blindly following people that we see on TV, for instance, because they sound smart. Even if someone, let's say, is an idiot, they can still have an amazing point, and even if someone's really smart, they can still say really dumb things. So I would emphasize to focus on what they're saying rather than how they're saying it or who you think they are. I will say one thing though, and this is completely my opinion, and you can disagree with it. This is totally subjective. But I think the one thing you have to have in order to be considered intelligent is empathy or emotional intelligence. Because if you can't understand other people, other perspectives, where they're coming from, it really results in a limited worldview, ideas, way of living, whatever you call it. And I've seen people where all the cogs are working well in their head, they're firing on all cylinders except they lack empathy. And I find that whether it's in their own life or their ideas, they end up being really flawed because they don't understand other people, other perspectives, other views, and that I think really negatively affects your intelligence. But yeah, that's my video. I hope you enjoyed the ramble. I hope you ate your nutritious or non-nutritious meal. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around, listening, and I'll see you next time.